Mercy had always lived in luxury, raised in a wealthy family. She never knew the meaning of hard work. Now married to Liam, a successful businessman, she continued her life of ease. Every day was a spending large in design clothes, sipping on expensive wines and enjoying the peaks of her husband's wealth. But Mercy was blinded to Liam's growing frustration. He had built his empire from scratch and believed in the value of hard work. Mercy's refusal to contribute to their life, even in the smallest ways, slowly started to wear him down. One evening, Liam came home exhausted from work, only to find Mercy relaxing by the pool, scrolling through her phone. "Is this all you do all day?" Liam asked, his voice edged with irritation. Mercy laughed, dismissing him. "Relax, Liam. You work hard so I can enjoy life. That's what being married to a successful man means, right?" Liam's face darkened and a seed of conflict began to grow in his heart. Liam tried to ignore the problem, but it gnawed at him. One morning, he decided to confront Mercy. "I don't mind providing for you, Mercy," Liam said, sitting across from her at breakfast. "But you need to find something meaningful to do. You can't just live a life of luxury without a purpose." Mercy barely looked up from her table, scoffed. "I have a purpose, Liam. It's called enjoying life. You work, I live. We're both doing what we're good at." Liam clenched his fist under the table. "I'm serious, Mercy. Find a job, volunteer, start a project, anything. I won't keep tolerating this." Mercy looked at him with a disbelief. "You threatening me because I want to work? Is that what this is?" Liam stared at her, unblinking. "Yes, Mercy, and this is a warning." Despite Liam's warning, Mercy continued to ignore him. Days turned into weeks, and she made no effort to change. Instead, she threw lavish parties, bought expensive clothes, and indulged in luxurious spa treatments to her life. Everything was perfect. Liam, however, was growing more distant. He came home late and often skipped dinner. Mercy hardly noticed, too absorbed in her world of wealth and ease. One night, Liam didn't come home at all. Mercy was furious when she finally saw him the next morning. "Where were you?" she demanded, crossing her arms. "At work," Liam said firmly. "Since you won't contribute, I have to." Mercy rolled her eyes. "Oh, please stop with the drama. We are fine." Liam's patience snapped. "Mercy, if you don't start working or at least doing something productive, I'll force you out of this comfort. I'm not asking anymore. I'm commanding." Mercy laughed, thinking it was another empty threat. She had no idea Howard was about to turn upside down. The following week, Mercy woke up to a shocking discovery. All her credit cards Liam had given her were cancelled. The staff she had employed had been sent home, and her luxury car was gone. Mercy ran through the house panicking. "Liam, where are my cards? Where is my car?" Liam sat calmly in his study. "You wanted to live off my work, but now that's over. I'm giving you a chance to figure out how to live without luxury. You'll thank me later." Mercy was relieved. "You can't do this to me. I'm your wife. I'm your husband. I'm not your bank account," Liam said coldly. "You have to work for anything you want from now on." Mercy sat on the couch, staring blankly at her empty house. With all the stuff to cook and clean, the place began to look disorganized. She tried calling her friends for support, but they were too busy with their own lives to bother with her problems. Days passed, and Mercy realized she didn't know how to do the simplest tasks. Cooking, cleaning, even budgeting, all of it was foreign to her. She wandered through the house, her luxurious life unrevealing before her eyes. Mercy's despair grew deeper with each passing day. She didn't know how to survive in this new reality. Liam watched Mercy from a distance, his heart torn between pity and determination. He loved her, but he knew that if he didn't teach her how to stand on her own 2 feet, she would never grow. Still, seeing her so helpless wasn't easy. Mercy, on the other hand, hit the rock bottom. She had run out of cash and was surviving on the leftover food. Her once a glamorous appearance had faded. Her hair was messy and she wore same clothes for days. One evening, she broke down in tears, sitting on the floor of their once vibrant living room. "I can't do this," she sobbed. "I don't know how to live like this." Seeing Mercy at her lowest, Liam approached her gently. "I never wanted to hurt you, Mercy," he said, sitting beside her. "But I needed you to see that life isn't just about luxury. You have to work for what you want." Through her tears, Mercy nodded. "I get it now, but I don't know how to start." Liam took her hand. "Start small. Find something you enjoy, something you can build on. It won't be easy, but I'll be here with you." For the first time in her life, Mercy felt a flicker of determination. She knew that the road ahead would be tough, but she was willing to try. Mercy woke up the next morning with a sense of dread but also unusual flicker of purpose. The house was still quiet, but the chaos within her mind had begun to settle. She knew Liam was watching, waiting to see if she would finally take a step forward to change. Taking a deep breath, she opened her laptop and began searching for ideas. She scrolled through endless lists of job openings, but each one seemed impossible. She had no experience, no qualifications. Her mind raced with fear, but she remembered Liam's words, "Start small." Suddenly, something caught her eye, an online course of interior design. Mercy had always loved decorating her home, but she had never thought of it as something she could do for others. She hesitated but clicked the link anyway. That afternoon, she nervously approached Liam. "I found something I think I can do," she said. Her voice soft but steady. "It's a course on interior design." Liam raised an eyebrow, surprised but pleased. "That's a good start," he said. "If it's something you're passionate about, you should pursue it." For the first time in months, Mercy saw a glimpse of approval in Liam's eyes. It fueled her determination. As the days passed, Mercy threw herself into the interior design course, but it was far from easy. She struggled to keep up with the assignments, and the technical aspects of the work overwhelmed her. There were moments when she wanted to quit, to run back to her comfortable life of luxury. One night, after failing to complete an assignment, she stormed into the bedroom, throwing her laptop on the bed in frustration. Liam, who was reading a book, looked up calmly. "Done already?" he said, his voice neutral. Mercy's eyes filled with tears. "I can't do it, Liam. I'm not smart enough for this. I've never worked a day in my life, and now you expect me to just become someone new?" Liam put a book down and stood in front of her. No one expects you to become someone new overnight. But you have to keep pushing. The only way to grow is through struggle. His words resonated with Mercy. Though he was still frustrated, she nodded. Deep down, she knew he was right. As weeks passed, and Mercy's persistence began to pay off. Slowly but surely, she improved in her course, learning the basics of designs and building her confidence. She completed her first project, a small redesign of her own living room. And while it wasn't perfect, it was something she had done entirely on her own. One evening, Liam came home to find her sitting proudly in a redecorated space. "You did this?" he asked, impressed. Mercy smiled shyly. "Yes, it's my first real project." Liam nodded, his eyes softening. "It looks great, Mercy. I'm proud of you." These words hit her hard than she expected. For the first time, she felt like she had truly earned something, and it wasn't just Liam's approval, it was her own. Just as Mercy began to feel a sense of accomplishment, life threw her another curveball. Her online course required her to take on a real client for the next project. The idea terrified her. What if she failed? What if her client hated her work? But Liam couldn't let her back down. "You've come this far, Mercy. You can't stop now." Mercy nervously took the challenge, working for a small family who wanted to renovate their guest room. She poured her art into the project, spending long hours planning and designing, but fear still ground at her. When the day came to reveal her work, she stood in the room, hands shaking as the family walked in. They looked around silently, their faces unreadable. Finally, the mother turned to Mercy with a smile. "It's beautiful," she said. "You've transformed this space into something we love." Mercy's heart swelled with pride. She had done it. For the first time, she realized she was capable of so much more than she had ever believed. As Mercy found her footing, something unexpected happened. She and Liam began to drift apart. Though Liam had been the one to push her towards this new path, his long hours at work left little time for their relationship. They barely spoke, and when they did, their conversations were short, almost mechanical. Mercy realized that while she had been growing as a person, their marriage had started to flatter. She missed the connection they once had, and now that she was no longer the carefree woman longing by the pool, she felt even more isolated from Liam. One night, she confronted him. "Liam, do you even care anymore? You pushed me to change, and now it's like we are strangers." Liam, caught off guard, looked at her for a long moment. "I thought we were focusing on your work. Isn't this what you wanted?" "I wanted to grow, but not without you," Mercy said, her voice thick with emotion. "I didn't realize that by finding myself, I would lose you." Liam's face softened. For the first time in months, he took her hand. "I never wanted to lose you, Mercy. I just wanted you to find yourself. But maybe I forgot that we are supposed to do that together." In the days that followed, Mercy and Liam made a cautious effort to reconnect. They spent more time together, talking openly about their feelings, fears, and dreams. Mercy opened up about how lost she had felt during the transition, while Liam admitted that his distance had been his way of dealing with his own insecurities about their relationship. They started to work as a team, not just in their marriage, but in their individual growth. Liam encouraged Mercy to continue pursuing her design passion, and in return, Mercy supported Liam in his business ventures, offering a perspective she had never considered before. Their bond slowly began to heal, but they both knew they were not the same people they had been before. Their relationship was evolving just as they were. One morning, Mercy received an unexpected email. It was from a high-end interior design firm that has seen her work online. They were interested in offering her a junior design position. Mercy's heart raced as she read the message. This was everything she had been working for, but it also terrified her. She showed the email to Liam that evening. "You should go for it," he said immediately. "I'm not ready," Mercy replied, her voice shaking. "This is too big for me." "You've been saying that since the day you started," Liam said, smiling. "And every time you've proven yourself wrong." The email sat in Mercy's inbox for days as she wrestled with fear. She had come so far, but the thought of stepping into a real career terrified her. Was she ready for such a big opportunity? She couldn't shake the doubt that kept whispering she wasn't good enough. One night, while lying in bed, Liam turned to her. "You're still thinking about it, aren't you?" Mercy sighed. "I don't know if I'm ready." Liam's voice was steady. "You will never feel complete already, Mercy. No one does. But that's the point of growth. You've taken the first step. This is just the next one." His words, filled with calm confidence, struck a chord in her. The next morning, she took a deep breath, clicked on the email, and accepted the offer. Mercy's first day at the design firm was a whirlwind. The office was a stark contrast to her life at home, fast-paced, filled with creative minds and challenging projects. She felt out of place among the seasoned designers, but she quickly realized they were just human beings as she was. Everyone started somewhere, and this was her beginning. Her boss, a no-nonsense woman named Claire, handed her the first assignment, redesigning a luxury apartment of a wealth client. Mercy's heart raced. It was daunting, but it was also a kind of challenge she had always dreamed of. Each day brought new trials, from learning how to work with demanding clients to handling tight deadlines. There were moments when Mercy doubted herself, but she refused to give up. She had come too far to let fear win. As Mercy dived deeper into her new job, the demands of her career began to weigh on her relationship with Liam. Late nights at the office and early morning meetings left her exhausted. Liam too was caught up in his own work, and time they spent together was limited. One evening, Mercy arrived home late, her eyes heavy with fatigue. Liam sat at the dining table, frown on his face. "You've been coming home late a lot lately," he said, his voice laced with concern. "I'm sorry," Mercy replied, sitting across him. "This job is just a lot." Liam nodded, but didn't say anything for a while. "I'm proud of you, Mercy, but I miss you. We've worked so hard to get here, but it feels like we are drifting again." His words hit her like a punch in the chest. She hadn't realized how much her career was affecting their marriage. "I miss you too," she whispered, "but I don't know how to balance everything." As Mercy's workload increased, the strain between her and Liam worsened. One evening, after a particularly stressful day, they had a heated argument. Mercy accused Liam of not supporting her enough. while Liam lashed out about how distant she had become. "Do you even want to be with me anymore?" Liam's voice cracked, his frustration and heart palpable. "Of course I do," Marcy snapped. "But I can't just give up on my career. You're the one who pushed me to work, remember? I wanted you to grow, not to lose yourself in job." Liam shouted back, his face flushed with hunger. Marcy stood in silence, tears brimming in her eyes. They were both right, but they are also both wrong. The tension had been building between them finally exploded, and they both realized something had to change. That night, Marcy couldn't sleep. The argument played on repeat in her mind. She thought about how much she had changed since starting her journey, and how much Liam had changed too. They had been so focused on their individual growth that they had forgotten about their relationship. The next morning, Marcy found Liam in the kitchen, nursing a cup of coffee. She sat down next to him, her voice soft. "I don't want us to keep drifting like this." Liam sighed, running a hand through his hair. "Neither do I. I don't want to lose you, Marcy." They sat in silence for a moment before Marcy spoke again. "Maybe we need to find a way to balance things better. I love my job, but I love you more." Liam looked at her, his expression softened. "We'll figure it out together." Marcy and Liam made a cautious effort to rebuild their relationship. They started setting aside time for each other, no matter how busy their schedules were. Marcy learned to delegate more at work, trusting her colleagues to help shoulder the load, and Liam made sure he was present when she needed him the most. It wasn't easy. There were still long days and stressful nights, but they had learned to communicate better, to understand that growth didn't have to come at the cost of their love. As Marcy settled into her new routine, her passion for design only grew stronger. She began thinking bigger, imagining a future where she could run her own design firm, helping people create spaces that reflect their true selves. Liam supported her dream wholeheartedly, even offering to help her with the business sides of things. Together, they started laying the groundwork for what would become her own interior design company. Marcy felt a sense of purpose, not just in her work but in her life. She was no longer the lazy, luxurious woman who had been afraid to step out of her comfort zone. She was a woman with vision, with a passion, and with the love that had weathered the storm. As the years passed, Marcy's business flourished. She had become a respected name in the design world, and she and Liam had built a strong foundation in their marriage. But just when everything seemed perfect, another challenge arose. Liam fell seriously ill. Marcy was devastated. The man who had been her rock, who had supported her through every step of her journey, was now fighting for his life. She spent every moment by his side, putting her business aside to take care of him. In those dark days, Marcy realized how much Liam had truly meant to her, not just as her husband, but as her partner in every sense of the word. She had grown because of him, and now she was determined to be there for him just as he has always been there for her. Liam's condition worsened, and Marcy's heart broke a little more each day. She watched as the man she loved struggled to hold on, and it was the hardest thing she had ever faced. But even in these weakest moments, Liam still managed to smile at her, telling her to stay strong. One night, As they sat in the hospital, Liam took Mercy's hand. "I'm so proud of you," he whispered, his voice weak but full of love. "No matter what happens, remember that." Tears streamed down Mercy's face as she held him close. She didn't want to imagine a life without him, but she knew that Liam would always be part of her no matter what. Liam passed away quietly one evening, surrounded by Mercy and a few family members who had grown close over the years. His loss left a gaping hole in the Mercy's heart, one she wasn't sure could ever fill. For days, she stayed in bed, unable to process the reality that the love of her life was gone. The once lively home they had built together felt empty, every corner a painful reminder of Liam. Her friends came to offer comfort, but Mercy couldn't find words to express her grief. She had lost her best friend, the one person who had always believed in her, even when she didn't believe in herself. As the weeks passed, Mercy withdrew further into herself. She stopped going to work. Her design firm was running on autopilot, thanks to the team she had built. But inside, she was grumbling. Her once bright spirit had dimmed, and the world seemed like a cold, harsh place without Liam by her side. Her friends and colleagues urged her to return to her passion, but Mercy couldn't bear a thought of moving on. A life without Liam, Every time she sat on her desk, she remembered how he had been the one to push her forward, to help her realize her potential. Now with him gone, it felt like her purpose had disappeared too. One quiet morning, as Mercy was cleaning out Liam's study, she found a letter tucked away in his desk drawer. It was addressed to her, and her hands trembled as she opened it. Inside, Liam's familiar handwriting filled the page with a word that brought her tears. "My dearest Mercy, if you're reading this, I'm no longer with you. I know you're hurting, and I wish I could be there to hold you through this. I want you to remember something. You are strong than you think. You have always been strong, even when you don't see it. I don't want my absence to break you. I want it to remind you of how much we've built together, and how much more you can still achieve. You have so much left to give to the world, Mercy. Don't stop now. Live your life to the fullest, just like we have always dreamed. I'll always be with you in spirit. Love, Liam." Mercy wiped as she read the letter over and over. Liam's words offering her comfort like a warm embrace. It was the push she needed, a reminder that even though he was gone, his love and belief in her would never fade. Inspired by Liam's letter, Mercy slowly began to rebuild her life. She returned to work, but this time with a different perspective. Her grief had given her a new path of understanding, and she poured it into her design. Her clients noticed a shift in her work. There was a raw emotion quality to everything she created now, a reflection of her personal journey. Mercy started taking on projects that resonated with her on a deeper level, focusing on designing spaces that brought peace and healing to those who needed it. In a way, it was her tribute to Liam, a way to keep his memory alive through her art. With each new project, Mercy began to feel more connected to herself again. She wasn't the same woman she had been before, but she was stronger, wiser, and determined to make the most of her life she had ever added. As Mercy's business flourished, she began to think of how she could give back to the world. Inspired by the support and love Liam had always showed her, she decided to start a foundation in his name, the Liam Foundation. focused on helping young, aspiring designers from unprivileged backgrounds. The foundation would provide mentorship, scholarship, and opportunities for those who, like Mercy once had, lacked the confidence and resources to pursue their dreams. It was her way of continuing Liam's legacy and ensuring that his impact to the world would live on through others. The foundation became an instant success, and Mercy found a new sense of purpose in helping others achieve their dreams. She realized that honoring Liam's memory, she was always honoring the love and life they have built together. Liam's absence would always be felt, but his love had given her the strength to keep moving forward. Mercy had built a new life, one filled with purpose, passion, and deeper understanding of herself and the world around her. As she cut the ribbon to officially open the school, a sense of peace washed over her. Liam's voice echoed in her mind, telling her he was proud. Mercy smiled, knowing that she had finally reclaimed her life. Years later, as Mercy stood at the opening ceremony of a new design school funded by Liam Foundation, she reflected on how far she had come. She had transformed from a woman who once refused to leave her luxurious bubble into someone who had faced incredible loss and emerged stronger than ever. Liam's absence always been felt, but the love she had given her helped her to keep on moving. She had risen from the ashes of grief and found a way to carry on, not just for herself, but for memory of the man who had always been able to believe in her. As she looked out at the smiling faces of the students eager to begin their new journey, Mercy knew she had created something truly lasting, a legacy of love, resilience, and hope. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you so much for reaching this far. This is the end of our story. Have you learned something out of this story? I personally have learned something out of it. Have you learned something? There are a lot of lessons that we can learn out of this story. Drop them in a comment section. Just let me know what you think. And if you've not yet subscribed to this channel, kindly subscribe, share, and like these videos. Don't forget the notification bell. Bye bye. See you in my next video. I love you all.